Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma, and today we're going to be talking about water propagation. So propagation is basically growing new plants from old plants, but it's basically a super easy way to grow your plant collection. And oftentimes you don't have to spend money to do it because you're getting cuttings from friends or your own plants or stuff like that, which is really cool. So today specifically, we're going to talk about water propagation, which is my personal favorite when it comes to how to propagate things. I like it best because it really allows you to watch the process and see when your plant is doing well and if it's doing well, because otherwise, if you're doing soil propagation, you can't see, and that makes it difficult for me to know that my plants are doing well, and I like to know. There is a little bit of a con to water propagation over soil propagation, because the roots that grow in water propagation are slightly different than those that would grow in soil. And so they aren't necessarily as strong, and once you transfer the water propagations into soil, sometimes it can put the plant into a bit of a shock and not do too well, because some of the water roots die off because they're a lot more fragile and new roots grow. It's kind of an intermediate step that you can use, but you don't have to. But I like to, because I like to be able to see what's going on in my plant's life. So before we get started, I just wanted to say, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment about what other plant related stuff you'd like me to talk about next, and subscribe for more. And also, if you want to see my pictures of my plants every day, follow me on Instagram, it's @goodgrowing. So there are some supplies you need in order to water propagate. First off, you need the plant you want to take the cuttings from, some sharp scissors or a knife or something, a glass jar that you're going to be putting the cuttings in, and you need some water. Some people suggest that you also use rooting hormone when you're water propagating, but I personally have found success without it, and so I don't use it. It's really up to you what you want, but I'm not going to talk about it here. Right, let's get started. So step one is to take your cutting, and you want to cut below a node because that is where the roots will come out of eventually when it's started rooting in the water. And you can even try to have 2 nodes in each cutting if you want even more chance of getting good roots, but I think 1 is usually fine. So you want to make sure you're taking some nice sharp scissors or a knife and cut about 1/4 inch or 1/2 centimeter below a node. Also, it's really good to take multiple cuttings from the same plant and propagate all of them, because if you do that, you're more likely to succeed in getting solid roots. So the next step here is that you want to fill up your container with water. So once your glass is filled, you want to put your cuttings in the water, making sure that the node that you cut just below is fully submerged. And now that we've got the cuttings in the water, we wait. And that can kind of be the hardest part because patience is difficult, but it's also, I think, really fun to watch the roots develop and grow into something crazy, because oftentimes the roots are a lot more interesting than you think they'll be. So some plants start developing roots within days, and some can take weeks or even months before they start developing anything. Like this Christmas cactus here that I've been water propagating. I got cuttings from this at Easter, and I don't think I started seeing any roots for probably about a month. I honestly thought it was a lost cause that I was even doing this. I thought about throwing them away, but then one day I had a look at it and I saw these little white roots coming out, and I freaked out because it was amazing. I was so excited about it. And I also took these English ivy cuttings just before Easter as well, so these have been propagating for about the same amount of time, and the difference in roots is crazy. And it just goes to show that some plants grow differently than others, and sometimes you need to be a little bit more patient and hope for the best. They've been in approximately the same conditions on a windowsill getting bright but indirect light, but they grow quite differently. So you want to make sure that you're putting your propagation in a place with bright but indirect light. You don't want it getting any sun because it can be too harsh for it. These are kind of fragile cuttings now, and they can't stand a lot of abuse, so no direct sun would be ideal. So it's advised that you change the water in your water propagations about every 3 to 5 days, but I don't think that's totally necessary. I think I change it anywhere from 3 days to a week, and it's generally not an issue. Sometimes I forget and it goes a week and a half and it's been fine. You just don't want your water getting murky. That's a surefire sign to know that you need to change it, really. Also, you want to make sure that the water you're giving them is room temperature and not too cold because it shocks the roots. You just want to make it as easy as possible for these guys to grow so you can pot them up soon. So that's it. That's all you need to know in order to water propagate your own plants. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give me a like down below and comment on other plant things you'd like me to talk about in the future, and subscribe for more videos, and follow my Instagram at GoodGrowing if you want to see pictures of my plants and how they get on, and if you want to watch this root, I guess. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Why am I cutting the leaves off my plant? But I've done it now.